I'm Roman Burrows with Geoprobe Service, and in this video we're going to talk about the cooling system on the Geoprobe 7822 DT. The cooling system on this machine has a large cooler and 2 electric fans that cools very efficiently. One important aspect is the priority cooling system. During normal operation of the machine, you're running the head up and down, hammering, turning augers, tracking the machine, or any number of functions. As oil is used for these functions, it heats up, is returned through the cooler, and back to the hydraulic reservoir. As the oil reaches a certain temperature, the first fan on the cooler turns on. As the fluid heats up even more, the second fan on the cooler turns on and the machine enters what we call priority 2 cooling mode. In this mode, a cooling bypass valve redirects the fluid from the controls through the cooler at a high flow rate. This is pushing as much oil through the cooler as possible, and it cools very efficiently. It's important to note that priority 2 cooling is not an indication that there is something wrong with your machine. It is simply a means of maximizing the cooling efficiency of the hydraulic system during normal operation. Priority 2 cooling works in the background, but you can see it from the control panel. As the machine enters into priority 2 cooling, you will see the hydraulic system pressure drop, and you may hear the click of the cooling bypass valve opening. The valve will stay open until the hydraulic fluid temperature goes below the priority 2 temperature set point. The machine looks like it's lost hydraulic pressure, but it's actually redirecting fluid to the hydraulic cooler. As you can see, when I engage an electronic function, the cooling bypass valve closes and I have my operating pressure at the control panel for as long as I need it. And then after a few seconds of non-use, the machine enters priority 2 cooling again. There are 2 caveats to the priority 2 cooling system. First, if you are operating a pump or some other function using an auxiliary switch, the machine is receiving an electronic command and therefore will never enter priority 2 cooling, and you're losing some cooling efficiency. When not in use, be sure to turn off all auxiliary switches. Secondly, on version 2 7822s that have a manual handle for movement functions, there's no electronic switch built into the lower valve. And since the machine is not receiving an electronic command, the machine movement controls don't work while in priority 2 cooling. To bypass this, bump the enable switch on the control panel and you'll get 30 seconds of operational control to position the machine. The upper valve body with manual handles has electric switches built in. So as I run functions with this valve body, the machine enters and exits priority 2 cooling without any special steps. This machine also has a setting called priority 1 cooling. Priority 1 cooling enters at 175 degrees Fahrenheit, damaging temperature for hydraulic fluid. It looks the same as priority 2 cooling, the only difference being priority 1 cooling will lock out all controls until it reaches an acceptable operating temperature. The priority cooling system on your Geoprobe 7822 DT keeps your machine running its best. If you have questions about this system or any other system on your Geoprobe machine, call Geoprobe Service.